Hey everybody, it's time for another Tony's Tidbits. And this time it's sort of different from the technology review here. We have my fridge, which is an old LG model. This is kind of like 31, 32 cubic feet um, of fridge. And it's not no longer working. It's not cooling in the refrigerator portion and also the freezer portion. And I'm gonna kind of go through what this fridge, some of the design features that I did not like about this fridge, and we're replacing this with a different version, or not a Samsung. It's actually I'm sorry, not an LG, but a Samsung model, the one with the Flex 4-door Flex version. So I'll show you in another segment about that fridge once we get it in and installed. But right now, what I'm going to do is head on into reviewing this LG fridge and why there are certain design elements that I don't like about it. First, I'm gonna prove to you that this thing is not working. I have a temperature thermometer in here, and if you can see it, it is actually 70 degrees inside of the fridge. So, definitely not working. This thing is set at 35 degrees Fahrenheit. No, not working at all. So, uh, number one, I really don't like the beverage center out in front. Okay, I want it to look sleek. Now, it's definitely convenient to have the beverage center here because you can hit your water line. You can hit. Well, this one has two different water lines. So I like this portion because at the top it'll dispense water into your pot for cooking. This is great for your filling. Sorry, this is the water line. This is the ice line, and the ice here is nice. Now, what happens sometimes though if you have crushed ice, it'll get stuck up here where the ice maker is. And if you can see, the ice maker is here in the refrigerator part, and it's not very effective to have the ice maker here in the refrigerator part because, as you know, it's not a freezer. Ice will melt. And so what happens is you're having to pull this bin out to get the ice. It'll definitely melt and then freeze and then melt and then freeze. And then what happens is it gets into a huge clump of ice, which it won't dispense anymore. So I have to take this bin out. I have to shake it. I have to put it back in, and then ice will dispense. So that's definitely a design issue with having the ice in the actual refrigerator part. What you see below here in this part is the chute that where the ice will come out. Now, often if you use a mix of crushed ice and also and then on top of it do a brick ice or the pyramid ice is what they have, it'll get stuck here. And so what I would have to do is take this out, dig out the ice, either dig it out or push it through, and then the ice will come down and then it's cleared for additional ice dispensing. So, not too thrilled about this type of design. What I do like about this LG is that it has tons of space. This is, let me see, how many cubic feet here? Does not say, but it looks like this was manufactured in 2012. So we're looking at an 11-year run for this fridge, which it has come with its downfalls because we've had to replace the fan in the freezer at one time, and we've also had to replace the sealing of the doors. And if you can see here, it's actually coming off. Let's see, yeah, it's coming off, and not only that, but on the ceiling, if it's kind of it's actually breaking down, and so some of the air will come out, and then mold will form on the seals. Yeah, it's a nightmare when it comes to that. But I do love the space of this particular fridge because it has a lot of space. It has 3 bins here where you can pull them out. You have a deli or a multi-function drawer where you can change it into produce, meat, deli, whatever you want to store in here. Configurable shelves, however you want. It's a really nice, very spacious design, but just not just, and it did keep our food very fresh. I mean, in these crisper drawers, it really held up. It really kept the lettuce for weeks on end and stuff like that. So this is a really cool, really efficient design. It just there was problems. There's definitely problems. Now it's not cooling, as you know, so that's a problem. And I'm gonna bring you down here and kind of show you the freezer section. So this particular freezer section, maybe this will work here. So this freezer section, it's a French door, of course, and it has this bin. And one thing about the bin is, and I'm gonna show you here. So one thing about the bins is that you really have, and it's nice, it has this, and it has the middle drawer, and it has this, so very spacious freezer. But one thing I don't like about these models is you're very prone to just take your whatever you buy from the market and then just throw it in here in the freezer. Now you have to really think about like how to organize it better. But if you're in a rush and you're trying to like get some of those things in the freezer as soon as possible, what happens is the bottom of the freezer starts to become this barren wasteland of like you don't know what's going on. And when we were removing things out of the freezer, there was some meat that was in there and we just didn't know what year we bought it from, so we had to throw it away. So more and better organization is what we're looking for in the freezer space. Now, again, with these drawers, it's huge. It's a huge drawer. But again, you're going to put stuff, it's going to get lost. You may buy multiple things because you just don't know where they are. So this is also a nice, inside of this particular one has this pull-out tray. So you can put in your peppers, whatever you have that's small into this space. So this is nice. This is a very spacious freezer. I did like it, but I don't like the organization, right? The organization of this particular freezer was just like, it's like I give you a huge bin and you're just throwing stuff into it. And it's not very thought out on design, on organization. Now, could we have organized it better? Yes, we could have put in clear plastic bins and made it very organized. But it was, you would have to have some intentionality on buying those bins, putting those things into the bins and everything. So in our new fridge, we're going to look at how we intentionally organize and keep things organized, just as you saw my video on organizing the pantry. So that's still up, that's still organized, so that's great. We're going to be probably looking at doing the bins just very similar to our pantry and putting them onto the shelving units as we get the new refrigerator. So when we get the new refrigerator, I'll do another segment in this video on what are the features of the new refrigerator that I like and why we bought it. And then hopefully I'll spend a week with it and then give you some final thoughts. So I just got the refrigerator, the new Samsung Flex refrigerator installed. Here it is, and I'll give you a quick detailed tour of some of the things that I like about this particular fridge. So I'm gonna switch the cameras around and give you a quick tour. You can see here that we did get the stainless steel model. So this is really nice. This particular door has a beverage center. So if you press the middle of the drawer, you can see here that it has both where you can fill your cup, and it also has this pitcher where it auto fills when you put the pitcher in this particular location. So we just got it, so we're letting it cool down. It does have options here, so you can put any beverages that you most frequently use, or condiments, whatever you most frequently use there. So the middle one is the beverage center, opens that door. if you go towards the middle, you can just pull the refrigerator open. And here you can see that on the right side, you have 3 drawers, or 3, I guess, just shelving units that you can actually put things on. And on the other side, this is the 2 shelves that you saw previously regarding the beverage center. And then 1 internal one where you can put anything that you'd like that's smaller. You have your triple cooling, your filter, you have this tray that you can pop in to make additional height for whatever you may be storing here. You have this crisper plus drawer that comes in and out. This is for usually vegetables, fruits. And you have this flex crisper where you can modify the temperature to either be meat, fish, deli meat, whatever you may have, or anything that's colder, or it can be also the same temperature as the refrigerator. So this gives you the flex crisper. Again, this has a beverage center, so you have a location where you would change your water filter. And I believe the recommendation is to change that water filter every 6 months. So that is what this refrigerator looks like. I'll go into the freezer section, so let me close that. Okay. This side, the right side, is called the flex zone. This can be configured to be a freezer or a refrigerator or whatever temperature that you wish to put in this particular section. We will probably most likely need this to be our freezer, since we have a lot of frozen foods that we would put in here. So this would most likely stay as a freezer, but it's nice to have the option that gives us the flexibility. Of course, this is called the Samsung Flex, to help us, when we need additional refrigerator space, this also can be an option. The left side here, you'll see, has 3 bins, but it also has 2 different ice options. One that has pyramid ice, and the other that has the ice bites. So this is pretty unique. You can see here it says cubed ice and ice bites. It's currently cooling down to make some ice. So we are waiting for that. But the first batch we'll want to throw out because the refrigerator is new, and it's also a new filter. So every time you replace the filter, you'll want to throw out the first batch. You'll want to dispense 2 gallons worth of water out of the dispenser, and then discard that or water your plants, and then you'll want to throw out the first batch or 2 of ice and throw that out as well, and then you'll be set. I love the reason why we want this fridge. One, it's basically a side-by-side, but because it has these doors, and but most importantly, as you saw, our LG just had the French door with a big bin at the bottom. And this gives us way much more flexibility and organization, so that when we're looking for things that are frozen, we can pull out the tray and look at what we have in stock. Whereas the LG or some of the other French door that has a big bin at the bottom, it's very hard to organize. So this is one of the selling points of having this type. Now I had even looked at maybe a side-by-side fridge, the old school side-by-side fridge, but this seems to be the best compromise when it comes to French door style fridge. So you can see it's very spacious. This comes in at 29 cubic feet. We're able to pretty much, we'll be transferring, once this cools down, we'll be testing it and transferring all of the food and populating everything that we have in our other fridge, our beverage fridge, into this one. We love having the ice maker. Samsung is notorious for having really bad ice makers, but those are the units that actually had the ice maker in the refrigerator part. This one has the ice maker in the freezer part, which is probably where it belongs. And it has 2 options, the pyramid ice and also the ice bite. So we're looking forward to that. We will use this for a couple days, and then I'll do my final thoughts on what I think about the fridge. So we've had the Samsung fridge for a while now, and let me just give you a short review of what we've learned. One, these doors, sometimes when they install, you want to make sure that the doors are level. They do give you spacers. It's in the instruction booklet to add to the hinge of the door so that they're level. So make sure that this is level. So I did put a leveler on it. It was really hard to do the doors for the freezer, but I was able to get it level. There is a mechanism to actually pull it up. When we talk about space in the fridge, there's tons of space, and we're starting to use the bins in here to really keep it sort of organized. And there's just way much, I won't say much more space, but let's say better use of the space because we're able to organize it a little bit better. This beverage center does take some space, so you do have locations for your condiments on this side, but just keep in mind that this beverage center, which these two bins actually are supporting or part of the beverage center, as you can see. So there's that. This refillable pitcher is a game changer because we drink out of it, it keeps the water cold, we put it back in, and it refills itself and it is cold for the next drink, so that's great. We really haven't used this all too much because we got the pitcher, but I can foresee if we're filling up water bottles, would be an actual better option. I find that we're trying to keep, with a little bit of my OCD-ness, we're trying to keep the fridge fingerprint free. Now, this finish is fingerprint resistant, so it actually is really easy to clean up. So every night I just come over and I clean up all the fingerprints. But so we can keep this front panel pretty clean in all. This flex zone, as I mentioned before, I mean, we're able to actually take all the stuff that we had in the previous fridge and put it into this fridge. And not only that, but our spare fridge, we're able to actually put everything in that freezer into this freezer as well. So it's amazing on space. As you can see, we still have space, even though this is 2 freezer full of things combined. So the freezer space, the organization of everything is really good. So I really love this type of pretty much a side-by-side setup, except for it having French doors. So this flex side is, we've opted it to always be a freezer, so not a problem there. And then here we have another section, and we have the ice. Now, let me flip this around real quick here. Give me a second. So this ice is amazing, right? So it has this like, I won't say nugget ice, but they call it ice bites, and it is chewable, definitely. So it's really nice. It will chill your drinks faster because it's smaller pieces. And then you have your pyramid ice. So it did take a little bit of time to get the first batch and to fill up these trays, but once they're filled up, you're good. Now, one thing as a tip, when you have the fridge, you'll want to, when it starts to come down, you'll want to put the ice forward. And the reason why is because if it backs up in the back too much, it's going to hit that sensor, and that sensor is going to signal that it should stop making ice. So just keep that in mind when you're making ice, that you that it doesn't accumulate in the back. Just pull the ice forward, and it will continue to make the rest of the ice. Everything else, we got more space in the drawer. We got our we got pretty much everything we wanted when it comes to storage in the fridge. So again, we're really liking this fridge. We're trying to keep it as organized as possible, keep it as clean as possible. And for me, I'm just like every night wiping down the the fingerprints to keep it nice. I don't know how long I'll be able to sustain that. So, again, this is Tony with Tony's Tidbits. If you've liked this or if this helped you in any way, give me a thumbs up. If you like additional videos or future videos, please subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. Until next time.